This segment is brought to you by Barker Honda. It's better at Barker.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it. We're glad to welcome back our friend to the show. Mike Sober, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Keith. Always. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Of course, Mike, Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Waterworks General Manager. And boy, when we see a leak or find a leak, boy, they calling you.
Well, I'll tell you what, they could keep that to themselves.
Yeah,
but
even
in
if
all
we can't see
it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Right. And even the difficult ones, because I know, and again, what we want to say about that on the front end is that if you think that there is a water leak somewhere, please call to Terrebonne Consolidated Waterworks.
Call us. It's easier for us to go out and say, no, that's not mine. There's a broken drainage culvert or perhaps a sewer line that's clogged up and backed up than it is to have what happened happen.
Right.
All indications are that what happened only happened about 6 hours before we knew it.
Right. Okay. And so in that 6 hours, tell us what it is on that timeline.
We're 24/7. July 4th is the same as July 5th or July 3rd. Really doesn't matter. But around 10 o'clock on July 4th morning, we got a call. I got a call at least, or a text from dispatch saying, hey, man, something wrong. We're about to lose down the Bayou.
Right.
So we talked for a little while, and some of the infrastructure that we have are still not, it's the redundancy part. It's not the resilient part. We lost the resilient part during Hurricane Ida.
Right.
And in this particular case, that's what it is. And I know everybody goes pandemic, and I'm just telling you the truth.
Right.
But actually, right before Hurricane Ida, we lost the main transmission line, a 24-inch line that runs from our Shreveport plant down Park, takes a left, cuts on Coteau, gets to Alma Street, comes all the way down to Hollywood, and goes into our Williams Pump station.
Right.
That line has been closed off since probably September, October of 2021.
Right.
We were losing about 4 million gallons a day through that broken line, but had no choice because we had no other way to get water across the Bayou.
Correct.
We spent from August of 21 until around October rehabbing some old lines across the Intracoastal, put them back into service, and that allowed us to shut that line off.
Right.
Initially, when we looked at replacing or repairing it, it was an old line that you couldn't repair. You had to replace it. We had an estimate from the engineer telling us it was going to be about $4.5–5 million. Board of Commissioners in emergency session said, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
When the bids came in, it was $10 million.
Wow.
So it was a little bit out of our budget.
Right.
A little out of our budget. So we kind of went to Plan B. We secured a $5 million grant from the Louisiana legislature, call it the Water Sector Program.
Right.
And it was decided that rather than repairing that line at $10 million, that we would use the $5 million from the legislature along with $7 million of our own to beef up and strengthen, and I think assure Terrebonne General Hospital will always have water under any circumstances.
Right. No, so
and so
some
we
bypass
spent,
lines
that is
as well.
correct. We spent almost $8 million of that 12 total to do that.
Right.
And that encompasses 4 million gallons of water already in the tank ready, 3 backup generators and 4 backup pumps, and 1 12-inch dedicated line going strictly and only to Terrebonne General.
Terrebonne General Hospital.
They use about 200,000 gallons a day under normal circumstances. You got 4 million gallons. If we can't get back up and running in 20 days, we got bigger problems.
Yeah, we in bigger trouble.
We're in bigger trouble.
So
that part.
Yeah, that's the history.
That's correct. That's how we got to where we are.
Right.
So if you can imagine, this particular system and this 24-inch line was built in 1974.
Right.
Okay, that's when the plant in Shreveport was built. It got tied in somewhere around 80. So this line is 50 years old. It got damaged. We worked and saved our money, used some other money, and got enough money. We went out to bid in April of this year, got a bid $1.5 million under what we had budgeted again.
Right.
Let's go. the feds are involved, and they have their own set of rules that
Sure.
you have to follow.
And the red tape that comes with that.
That's just, he who has the money makes the rules.
That's right.
And so we're continually, a special thanks to Parish President Jason Bergeron for considering us worthy to get on their list, because the money goes to them and then he gives it to us to fix.
Right.
And we're just that close.
Right.
We're that close. We expect by the end of this month to receive their approval, and we're ready to go. The contractors, he's already given us 4 extensions on the price.
And y'all local money is ready.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Waiting on the
We
matching
don't,
funds.
The only way we do business is if the money is in the bank.
Sure.
We never
Yeah.
bet on
Right,
the
you just can't.
That's against
the money's not showed up enough times.
No. If it's in the bank, we can spend it.
Right. And so that's the fix to let's introduce people to what happened on the 4th.
Correct.
And then just
Yes, sir.
introduce, and then next segment we'll go into detail.
I'd be happy to. So this system, again, 50 years ago was built around this transmission line. Well, it's not there anymore.
Right.
So you can only do so much to substitute and to get around it. And we now know, because of the freeze and this event, that if we lose 2 million gallons of water through a line, you're dead. I just can't get it there.
Can't get
any
enough
other way.
pressure.
Can't
to do
get it
that
any
way.
other way.
So we had that event, something took place, and we're going to come back and tell people all
Yes,
about
sir.
it. So an event on the 4th, by the 5th, it was fixed for now, and we're going to figure out what to do long term.
Yeah,
all right,
we
guys,
got it. Thank
Mike's
you.
going to stick around. You do the same. We'll be right back, right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Barker Honda. It's better at Barker.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it. Very glad to have back with us again, Terrebonne Consolidated Waterworks General Manager Mike Sobert.
Yep.
Mike, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All
Keith.
right, and so we were telling a little bit about the history of some of the
Right.
things that have
How we got
created
the
some
way
of
we
the
were.
problems. And so let's move forward to July the 4th and what happened.
So the way our system is designed, we have it's South Terrebonne standpipe, and my apologies, but when you're standing in the swamp and you got little short fat fingers like me typing out SOUTHTER, it's just a whole lot easier to say STP, and so that's what that stands for.
STSP.
Anyway,
South
that's
Terrebonne
that big water
standpipe.
tank that's right on the side of Presque Isle.
Right.
That water tank feeds Presque Isle.
Right.
There's a pump station there that feeds all of Montague, Montague, Berg, Country Drive, Pointe-aux-Chenes, goes into Lafourche Parish, all of Chauvin, all the way down to Cocoa Marina.
Right.
So the idea is you have to get enough water in South Terrebonne, basically high enough, like 60 feet, to get 35 pounds of pressure.
Right.
To push the water from there to
All the way down.
Presque Isle.
Right.
And so this is a graph of the output of pressure-wise, and it's really hard, but where it makes that dip, right, kind of about at 60% of the thing, that's the low point.
Right.
At that point, the pressure was 25 pounds.
Right.
The water will get there, but you don't have any pressure.
Right. It'll
I
get there,
can't
but it's
run
low.
the pump. I need to have 27 pounds of pressure to run that pump or burn it up.
And this is 25.
And this is 25. So we went like 12 hours. Now the water's still flowing through.
Right.
Whatever 25 will get you, it's still going down, but you don't have any pressure.
Right.
Down the Bayou has grown after, I guess,
Right.
way back when.
Right.
But everybody's 10, 12 feet up in the air. So
Yeah.
now everybody
So now
needs
you got
10,
water
12 more
down
pounds.
there, and then you
That's
gotta
right.
move the water
Now
up
I
to
got to
come
get
out.
more pressure up there.
Right.
We've not taken that into consideration. It's on the radar to do.
Right.
But anyway, so we went through July 4th checking for leaks.
Yes.
We were fortunate because we did get a lot of customers that call in and said, hey, I don't have any water pressure. What's on? Where you at? Tell me your address.
Right.
Okay. And then so we narrowed it down and we got it between actually the Presque Isle and the Intercoastal Canal by Park in Maine coming down.
Right.
We know where it's somewhere
We
in
know
there.
it's somewhere there.
Whoosh.
Concentrated
About
your
10,
efforts.
10, 15 of us went out, started looking at Bayou crosses. I mean, this is a big leak.
Right.
So if it's in somebody's neighborhood, they either got a swimming pool in their front yard that they didn't expect.
Right.
But somebody would have called.
Somebody's got a lot of water.
We didn't
Didn't get
get
any
one
of that.
word. We
Right.
did not get one word about this.
Right.
So we figured, well, it's happening where we can't find it. Like just in this little area that I described, we have 12 Bayou crossings.
Right.
Water pipe goes on the ground, goes under the bayou, comes up. There's a leak. You're not going to find it.
Right. There's
It's
no way
in
to
the
find
bayou.
it there. Right.
And then some other places that we looked. So we got to the point late on the 4th and said, this ain't working, guys. I really don't know.
Right.
We have another valve on where Bayou Blue crosses out by Main Iron. That's a 12-inch line that we opened up, but we couldn't turn on Presque Isle, but it added more water to the system.
Right.
We came back on the morning of the 6th. Okay, now we're on Saturday.
Right.
We got a phone call from a resident in that Audemars area.
Okay.
Hey, man, I'm out walking my dog and I smell chlorine. And you're looking
Here
at
it
it
is.
right now. What you see is the water bubbling up that man smelled
underneath.
chlorine,
Right.
called us. We immediately went out there. Now, Payne is between Howard Avenue and Senator Circle, East Street,
Right.
okay?
So you went out and got your machine and
Yeah,
started
so,
bringing
well,
up the
and
cement?
then that's it. That's a
Right.
12-inch line under there. So you saw that little drip, and now you see the water going into that coulee kind of big ditch with
Right.
cement on it. You can't see that from your car when you
No.
drive by.
This is what
the
happened.
first hole he popped in the cement, that's what
Bam.
you see. And if
And
you wait
that's
a
the
second,
volume of water.
That's what's happening.
Right.
You'll see the utility poles. That's how high it's shooting up.
Shooting as high as a utility pole. Wow. And so the result of that is that we've got this huge gushing
Right. And
12-inch
so
line
all the water that we're trying to get in South Terrebonne is right
leaking
there.
right here.
We can't get it from
Right.
the Houma Shriver plant into South Terrebonne.
So you guys went out, figured it out, fixed it.
Right.
And this is what we saw
That is correct.
in the hole that was there.
Yeah.
Jay, show that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
This is this right here is actually underneath Payne Street.
this is under the
right
street.
where the water line broke. But the water line is kind of to this side of it.
To the right side.
Okay, but you can see there's some old rotten wood in there. So
Yeah.
that tells me something was done. See that little yellow thing right underneath the cement?
On the
That's
right?
the gas line.
Gas line.
That wasn't marked.
Yeah.
That wasn't marked.
So this is kind of a blessing in disguise,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
we now realize that there's a lot of work that needs to be
Correct.
done.
And so we're coordinating with Terrebonne Parish now. We've got everything cordoned off so you can't get in it.
Right.
And then we'll make a plan because you have drainage, you have water, you have gas, you have sewage, you have all these things trying to share the same little spot.
Right.
And you got to pay
We
attention
got
to
to be
what's going
careful
on.
about
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And we want to let people know that not only is the pressure better, but it's far better
Yes.
than it was
yeah.
before.
Well, we back up actually about 15 pounds higher than we were before.
Right.
Pointe-à-Chan's at 44. Pointe-à-Chan's
Pointe-à-Chan's
at 44,
44,
all the way
Robinson
down at the
42.4.
end is 42. So
Right.
that's good pressure.
Great
we're
pressure.
Back. We're on.
So we're way above the 35 that's needed.
Oh, without doubt.
And
Yes, sir.
so,
Yes.
so Mike, we
Yeah.
appreciate you and your team working
Anytime.
through the holiday
Anytime. We
weekend to
appreciate
go
it.
find the leak, find the problem, and create some results.
good. We're
We
good.
appreciate it. Good luck with
Thank
the money
you.
coming soon.
We'll get it.
All
Thank
right,
you, sir.
thank you. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment and this Bayou Time. But don't go anywhere. I got a whole lot more right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your partner is good health.